All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, fellow Pandemonium travelers, this is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown Day 168 by my count. As you can see, life is returning. We were the virus. Maybe traffic was the virus. You see, if you got up to speed, it would be easier to get into the lane you're trying to get into. I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but apparently some of you need to hear this. You see, the on-ramp for the interstate, if it's not backed up, is a slipway for you to get up to speed so that you can then merge with the traffic that's going 60-ish plus miles per hour. I thought this was pretty basic stuff, but I'm stuck behind people going 25 miles an hour down an empty on-ramp, and I'm confused. Am I being rude? Am I wrong? Let me know. Anyways, griping about traffic, but that's part of what this whole endeavor is to document the return to normal, the return to normalcy. What's going down? What's going on? Well, the DNC is over. Look, on the one hand, they hit all their beats. They demonstrated their votes from different states, and they picked Biden, which wasn't a surprise. But the presentation was kind of unpleasant. I mean, I saw segments of it. I saw some clips. I saw the Billy Porter thing. I saw snippets of Biden's speech. It was fine. It was like he gave a sort of generic speech that hits all the beats that the Democrats are hammering on. We're in a dark time. Trump is dark. We need the light. We are the light. We are the hope. We'll do it together, etc., etc. Like, that's kind of the collectivist progressive thing, is like, things are bad, but we're going to make it better. It's another way of saying make America great again, but it's just addressing different issues, right? Make America great again was more like putting the power back in the hands of individual people to, grow their businesses and things and lower unemployment and make the country rich again, if we ever weren't or we're gonna be that again or whatever. But the progressive message, which is sort of what the Democrats are at least pseudo-progressive, is we are all together forming a new world that is best for everyone, and it's gonna be great. Now, the issue with the presentation is this, and this is again another one of these kind of Kyle-style insinuation prediction things. The campaign, people were talking about how bizarre some of the segments were, how bizarre some of the conversations were, and it's partially just because, of course, they don't have a crowd. So jokes don't land. You don't get a laugh break from the crowd chuckling, and then you don't get you see this crossing Aurora on foot at not a crosswalk? That is just a really bad idea. I feel like, and this is Kyle getting a little bit conspiratorial, I feel like they intentionally made the whole convention weird and awkward and odd and even somewhat off-putting, so that when Biden wraps up with a big speech, and was anybody surprised that did I already say that? Was anybody surprised that they gave it to Biden? What, were they going to somehow give it to Kamala instead? Were they going to give it to Bernie? Like, what was the surprise? There was no surprise. This was a foregone conclusion, so it was just all bizarre. But they intentionally made the whole thing Dada-esque performance art in order to make it so that when Biden wraps up with a reasonably well-delivered speech about coming together and overcoming evil, right, that was the crescendo, that was the climax, and it felt good, and it felt instead of feeling weird, it felt, kind of empowering, or what's the word? Inspiring. There we go. And I think these things, and then I'm like, nah, they spent too much money and stuff. But then you're like, well, it worked. They made Biden look a little better because there's just so many clips of him saying bizarre things and like running out of words and stuff, and just not being able to navigate topics and like sentences. I mean, like not being able to articulate his thoughts, and you need to be able to do that. Like as a person, of course, but as president, it's vital that you do that with a certain amount of granularity. And people criticize Trump about this all the time. And I kind of agree. Like, yeah, Trump has kind of a terrible economy of words. He'll just say wacky shit to see what happens, which could be kind of irresponsible. It's just that there hasn't really been too many negative outcomes from him saying wacky things or like just kind of going off the cuff, because that's also what people like about him. Because he is able to kind of riff and like do crowd work, which is why he seems more cognitively nimble than Biden does. So, I don't know, that's my conspiracy theory about the DNC. They intentionally made it weird to make Biden look better. How's that? I mean, you can't say I'm wrong, because that's kind of what happened, but whether they did that on purpose or not is the question. And this was one of the maybe I'll post a link. The Timcast with Jack Murphy live the other day, they said dumb or diabolical, right? So you apply Hanlon's razor, maybe Occam's razor, and then you go, okay, was this intentional or are they inept? And sometimes it's maybe intentionally obscure or vague, like you can't quite tell if it was intentional. It's kind of like propaganda, right? Like, propaganda is partially true. That's what makes it effective propaganda, is the part that is true Trojan horses the things that are not true in with it, right? What else is going down? Oh, yeah, so this is, I mean, it's like funny and not. So, Mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago has her own police security detail for her neighborhood, and she said, I need to make sure that my home is secure because of who I am. Now, see, I can't without at least chuckling. I mean, okay, really? I mean, are we in a simulation? I mean, come on. The city official who is like allowing rioters to ransack various parts of the city is like, oh no, but not in my neighborhood. I need police in my house to protect my house. You understand? And on the one hand, she's not wrong. Like, the general isn't sleeping in the mud with the other soldiers. Why? Because the general needs to be well fed and rested and have the ability to do command and control, like maps and charts and logistics and stats and figures, and to be able to make clear-headed decisions. So they get special treatment. Yes, like that is so. So in this instance, she's not wrong that the city officials need to be able to, like, you know, go home and go to bed kind of a thing. However, and this is a big however, abandoning the people of the city to the savagery of the worst occupants of the city while protecting yourself and your home is just chef's kiss. Just and the same thing happened in like LA, I think, right? Was it the mayor or police chief or somebody had police come to their house and patrol around their neighborhood like multiple times while saying, oh no, we can't respond to emergencies like in your neighborhood or anyone else or anywhere else. And it's just kind of, again, it's one of these things that this was, I mean, I said that this was going to happen. I don't know if I said specifically, I said rich people are going to afford private security, so they'll be fine. I'm not sure that I said, oh, city officials are going to protect their own shit, but not you. I'm not sure if I said exactly that, but yeah, it's obviously what was going to happen. It's going to continue to happen, and yet we're gonna keep paying taxes. We're gonna keep, I guess, voting these people into office. I suppose that might be changing. It's hard to say. I kind of hope so. Man, it's been one heck of a week, and I don't want to say the decline continues, but there's just some really troubling numbers. I mean, I've kind of talked about Seattle's problems. I've been hearing some stuff about, New York City having problems, but then I've also seen people kind of optimism posting, like, oh, look at all the people who are still out. I think you can't do anecdotal stuff about, oh, hey, look, this street is busy. You got to look at some of the figures, like what the tax revenue shortfalls are, commerce shortfalls, rentals available, people vacated, that kind of thing, in order to get a more accurate picture, like businesses that have closed and are not going to reopen. Like in New York City, for example, like various very famous restaurants are not reopening, or they're going to reopen somewhere else, right? They're like moving out. And with that, you lose all those, and I'm going to say this, the relatively unskilled jobs. Now, if you're a waiter at a high-end restaurant, there's definitely a lot of various skills that go in with that. But these are jobs you can get with experience, not with like a culinary degree. You get you get good at these kinds of jobs by doing them, right? Working in the industry. So you don't have to go to school. And I think was it Reservoir Dogs? It's one of these various jobs are the kind of jobs young people can get, and especially like women can get, single women can get, that will pay basically a living wage. And those jobs are all gone. No bussers, no dishwashers. Dishwashing is like one of the first jobs everybody should do. And it's because I can't trust you with anything else, so put the dishes in the machine, wash them clean, and then bring them back over here and put them away. And you're tasked with that simple task, and you'd be surprised there are people who are not good at it. Now, they might not be good at it because it's not really their thing, and they might be good at something else, but if you can't do that, then why would I let you cook on my line? Why would I let you bus tables? Why would I let you talk to customers, right? So, it's one of those jobs you get when you don't have any experience, right? And those are gone, right? So the decline is not going to it's not going to be like buildings falling apart, at least not yet. I mean, at some point, landlords aren't getting paid, so they won't have money to do maintenance. I mean, it's basically as simple as that. I don't know how to, and when that happens, then you're going to start losing occupancy. They're going to start laying off things like landscapers, custodians, maintenance people, and everything just sort of declines. It goes into a spiral, and it's one of these things like I can see various factors coming together in this perfect storm of just complete economic ruination. But does anyone have any real idea? Are there studies about this kind of thing? I don't know. But we're coming into the weekend. Got to do some yard work this weekend, I think. I hope that you guys have a good weekend as well. It's now Trump versus Biden, and there's October surprises coming, and all kinds of craziness, for sure. Probably rioting. I'm assuming more rioting. Is there someone taking bets on how many more days they're going to riot in Portland? It will go on as long as it has to, I suppose. All right, that's enough for me for one day. Bye.